Good day. Our group will be presenting a very important agency. This is the HSAC, or the Human Settlements Adjudication Commission. It is only a few years old, but it's very important when one has real estate disputes. Over the next few minutes, I will walk you through its history, its core mandates, and its profile and programs. I am Rico Estrella, and these are my group members Andre, Bea, Michael, and Christina. To begin with, I will provide some context by discussing the agency's predecessor and the whys that led to its creation. Before the HSAC, the agency responsible for both regulating the housing sector and resolving disputes was the HLURB, or the Housing and Land Use Regulatory Board. As a single agency, HLURB had a significant structural problem. Its dual role as a regulator and quasi-judicial body created a clear conflict of interest and operational problems, like inefficiency and delays, that made it difficult to provide impartial justice. Imagine an agency that both gives out the license to a real estate developer and later on hears complaints from citizens who have issues with that very same developer they give out licenses to. This structural flaw was the primary reason for a major change. The need for change was evident, and the dual function of the HLRB led to mounting public complaints and legal challenges. It was clear that a new approach was needed. The government recognized that to truly serve the public and enhance governance in the housing sector, it had to separate the functions. And this led to the creation of a landmark piece of legislation, Republic Act 11201, that would redefine the entire institution. RA 11201 is a landmark law that completely restructured the sector. Enacted in 2019, this law created a new cabinet level agency, and this is called the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development, or the DSUD. This was a consolidation of functions of two separate agencies, the HUDCC, or the Housing and Urban Development Coordinating Council, and the HLURB. This was done to create a more efficient, unified, and powerful body to streamline operations. A critical part of this law was the separation of the old HLURB's functions. The regulatory and policy-making responsibilities were transferred to the DSUD. Meanwhile, the quasi-judicial functions, or the power to hear and decide cases, were given to a completely new and independent body, and this is the Human Settlements Adjudication Commission, or the HSAC. This deliberate move was designed to ensure that the HSAC could function as a truly impartial court, separate from the political and regulatory interests of the DHSUD. With the passage of RA 11201, the HSAC's role was precisely defined. It is now a purely quasi-judicial agency with no regulatory powers. And this allows HSAC to focus entirely on its core mission, which is to provide an efficient and fair venue for the resolution of disputes. Although it's technically attached to the DSUD for coordination, the law deliberately gave it functional and administrative independence. This is done to ensure its decisions are made without external pressure. To fully appreciate the HSAC's role, it's important to understand what a quasi-judicial agency is. So, these are bodies that have power similar to a court but operate outside the traditional judicial system, usually within an executive department. Their decisions are legally binding, but they focus on a specific area of law or regulation. They must maintain complete independence in their adjudicatory functions to ensure impartiality and fair process. In HSAC's case, now the benefit of being a quasi-judicial agency is that decisions within the HSAC's jurisdiction are streamlined, now offering faster resolution of cases. Now let's talk about the heart of HSAC's mission, its mandates and jurisdiction. As a purely quasi-judicial body, the HSAC has exclusive and original jurisdiction over a wide range of disputes. Now, this means that if you have a problem with a real estate developer, for example, if a project is not completed on time or the terms of contract are not being honored, your case must be filed with the HSAC. It also has the authority to resolve internal conflicts within homeowners associations, which is a very common source of litigation. A common point of confusion for the public is the difference between HSAC and the DSUD, its parent department. The easiest way to think about it is this. The DSUD is the regulator, and its job is to issue licenses, inspect projects, and create policies. The HSAC, on the other hand, no, is the adjudicator. Its job is to hear and decide legal cases. They are two separate bodies with distinct functions. If you need a license, you go to the suit. If you have a legal dispute, you go to HSAC. So understanding this distinction is crucial to seeking the right legal recourse. Let's solidify this understanding with some practical examples. For example one, imagine a new condominium project. The DSUD is the agency that reviews and approves its permits, ensuring it complies with all regulations. But if that project then experiences significant delays and unit owners want compensation, they go to HSAC to resolve that dispute. And then for example two, no, it's the with homeowners associations. No? It sets the guidelines for their operations, but if there's internal conflict, say over election results or misuse of funds, HSAC is the body that adjudicates those specific cases. For the third example, consider a real estate contract. TSUD might fine a developer for administrative non-compliance, but if a home buyer needs to dispute a refund or a contract violation, HSAC steps in. And these examples clearly demonstrate that DSUD handles the how and what of development and regulation, while HSAC handles uh, if there's a problem or who decides the aspect. Beyond its core mandate of adjudication, the HSAC is focused on being a more citizen-centric agency. And this is to make its processes more accessible. And with that goal, it has implemented several key public-facing programs. The first is this, its Citizen Charter, which is a clear guide that outlines every process from filing a complaint to getting a copy of a decision. It also provides a variety of downloadable resources to help people understand their rights. And they even introduced online services like fees calculator to streamline the process for clients. The HAC is also leveraging technology to improve its services. One of its most notable innovations is the automated assistant named Hana, which helps clients with their inquiries. These aren't just for convenience, they are a direct response to the HAC's goal of making its processes as quick and efficient as possible. This is by reducing the time people spend on administrative tasks and then the agency so that the agency can dedicate more resources, more time to its core function of adjudicating cases, ultimately serving the public better. The HSAC's leadership is composed of an executive commissioner and several commissioners who are appointed by the president. These are not just administrative positions. The law requires that they are members of the Philippine Bar, lawyers, which with at least 5 years of experience. This ensures that the leadership has the necessary legal background and professional integrity to provide fair and legally sound judgments. Their expertise is crucial to maintaining the agency's high standards of justice. The HSAC is led by a team of highly qualified legal professionals. This ensures impartial and expert decision making in housing and land use disputes. Presently, the key members of the HSAC Commission are the following. Honorable Maria Elena Garcia, the Executive Commissioner, who leads the Commission's strategic direction and overall operations. Along with her would be several, I think four commissioners. Now, each commissioner brings a wealth of legal knowledge and a commitment to justice, reinforcing HSAC's role as a trusted arbiter in critical sector matters. To operate effectively, the HSAC has a well-defined internal structure. While its main headquarters is in Quezon City, Metro Manila, it has several regional adjudication branches across the country. This decentralized structure ensures that citizens don't have to travel long distances to QC just to file a complaint. All of these regional branches are supported by a central network of legal, financial, and administrative offices that work together to ensure the Commission's operational efficiency. So, how effective is the HSAP? We can measure its success through its operational metrics. In 2024, the Commission resolved a record number of cases, nearly 1,800, which is a clear indicator of its efficiency. But perhaps the most powerful testament to its quality is its appellate affirmation rate. Now, the Court of Appeals affirmed a remarkable 98% of the HSAC's decision. And this means that when a developer or homeowner appealed a decision, the higher court almost always agreed with the HSAC. And this proves that the Commission's judgments are not only fast, but also legally sound. Despite all its successes, the HSAC faces one significant challenge: enforcement. So the gap between its adjudicatory power and the effective enforcement of its judgments is the problem. There are real-world accounts wherein a developer would simply ignore a final and executory decision from the HSAC. And for the homeowner who won the case, it was as if nothing happened. And this shows a critical disconnect. Now, although the HSAC has the power to issue a legally sound judgment, for me, the HSAC has no teeth to force compliance, and it lacks the direct authority to compel developer to comply. You know, for the public, I said the success is measured not by a piece of paper, or not, but by a tangible outcome. To summarize, the HSAC, or Human Settlements Adjudication Commission, was established by Republic Act number 11201 in 2019, transforming the previous HLURB into a new agency focused solely on dispute resolution. HSAC is a quasi-judicial body that is separate and distinct from the DSUD, which handles housing policy and development. HSAC's exclusive mandate is to resolve disputes related to real estate, homeowners associations, and land use. This separation ensures impartial and specialized adjudication of these types of disputes rather than having them handled by a single housing development agency. The HSAC is led by an executive commissioner and several commissioners, all seasoned lawyers appointed by the president. HSAC has its main office in QC and is supported by regional adjudication branches across the country. So that concludes our presentation about the HSAC. Yeah, I think there's a 5-point quiz after this one. Thank you.